And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Allison welcomes her guest. He's a musician, wood mogul, and what you'd get if you taught a yellow lab to play death metal. It's Todd Cooper. Tone Zone is here to show you how to squeeze a 5-day Gusta into just 4 days. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the Love Bus and say hello to your new best friend, Allison Rosen.
Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen, Allison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little Parmesan angel hair noodles. It's me, Allison. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon by Becky Milner. And get this, I made Parmesan angel hair.
I thought that had come from your own brain.
I know. It's right here.
Yeah, you're not
Patreon.
lying.
I made Parmesan angel hair noodles for dinner twice this past week. I call this is either serendipity or surveillance.
We're in the flow right now.
Right. So anyway, yes, I am on Patreon. All sorts of fun stuff over there. You can get like 74 episodes of The Friend Zone. That is my Patreon bonus podcast. And it's 74 of ones called The Friend Zone. But before that, I just called it Patreon bonus. And then there's like tens. I don't know. We're talking like hundreds of episodes for the low price of whatever tier you decide to sign up for. And all your faves are there. So go get it. And also other stuff. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. If you could do an annual subscription, which I recommend, then you get 2 months free.
That's a good deal.
I would like to say hello to my guests. Todd Cooper, hi.
Hey.
You're back.
I'm back again.
You were just here.
I can't get enough, baby.
I can't get enough. Daniel, hi.
Hi.
Great to see you. Tony, hello.
Hi. I know this is where you normally want me to play a drop, but I feel like I have to share something important. At the time we're recording this, it's Todd's birthday in a week. So when people hear this, it's past. Needed that to be out there.
That was a drop. Imagine the whole thing. Wow.
Every week.
I remember when I said, cut this, make this a drop.
Well, that's what amuses me about the drops is, can people even tell when they're drops half the time?
Sometimes.
Because
Sometimes they think that they're real, but oftentimes they know. The real ones know.
That's kind of the fun of it.
I kind of wish Betsy Sidara would just run in here every now and again and go, oh, yeah.
Who wouldn't want that?
Okay, wait. Let me see if I can understand Tony's confusing math. Your birthday is September 2nd? 3rd?
3rd.
Okay.
By the way, this is news to me. I'd never know what date it is. Like, one of my ADHD things is calendar blindness. And when you said it, I was like, I guess it is around my birthday time.
Well, that's exciting. Did you know that Tony will be out of town on your birthday?
No, I did not. Is your birthday?
Oh, well, sort of. I'll be at Disneyland because it's also Flo's birthday.
Oh, you guys share birthdays?
That's right.
Yeah, and then mine's 3 days later.
6th. Yeah, I was gonna say it before you said it. I remember yours. You're welcome to. You and 3 other people who
I always remember. Some reason I always remembered yours was right around mine, but until last year realizing that you and Flo shared it. I finally remember.
That helps.
Seem like birthdays cluster?
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I'm sure
I know so many Septembers and Februaries.
Those are people
Yeah.
that boned on New Year's or during the holidays.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, August, September.
Right. I guess so. Like, I'm a May 11th. And I know a lot of May 11th.
My sister's May 9th.
See, it's weird. And
what's the May holiday? What's like from?
I don't think they're
yeah, backing that out.
Thanksgiving. No, not really. Not really.
Thanksgiving, baby.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't want to get down after a big Thanksgiving meal?
Belly full of turkey. Let's get nasty.
That is the sex meal.
Yeah. No, let's see. It would be August. Is that right?
Probably people getting excited about our birthdays.
There you go. It's a
When I
cycle of
think
life.
about Todd and Tony's birthdays, I get so horny.
Horny is the greatest word.
It's such a weird word.
Horny,
So weird.
horny does not get used enough.
It really doesn't.
And where did it come from?
I don't.
Why is that the word?
Look that up.
Horny.
Well, it's like a horn.
You grow a horn.
Ew, that's gross.
Well, that's probably what it is.
I mean,
it's
I never
definitely gross.
I mean, it sounds gross, but I never thought about it as like, oh, you're erect with your horn, and you want to.
I'm horny. Yeah.
I guess so.
Oh, yeah.
Is that really what it is?
Here's this. The word horny has been used in English since before the 10th century
What?
to describe things that look like or are made of animal horns or similar hard materials.
Ugh.
Well, wait, that doesn't have anything to do with anything sexual, though. I think that's just saying like,
Well,
it's like a horny.
But I mean,
Similar hard materials.
I guess so. But is there?
what other uses would you have? Non-sexual
origin of
uses
horny
would you have
sexual.
for horny? Like that is horny.
Yeah.
No.
like
Do you
some
have any-
dermatology
Like, is it
gross
Some
thing?
toad.
Old people like to eat horny candy.
So true. Yes. Oh, like I found 2 old pieces of macaroni and cheese earlier, and they were quite horny.
Imagine the first guy who said it had to be a guy.
Yeah.
The first guy who was like I'm assuming he had an accent in England that no one understood. Oh, Mahoney.
Oh.
And in
They looked for the horns on his head.
1,000
Yeah.
AD. Like,
All right, so I didn't see all of this. It does actually have a second entry
Oh,
that
thank
says
God.
the word horny also has an informal meaning of being sexually aroused. This meaning originated in the late 18th century from the phrase having the horn, which was used to crudely refer to male physical arousal.
we were right,
Well, so there you
unfortunately.
go.
Totally, unfortunately, it's funny. I innately knew it was gross, but I didn't know how and why.
Do you guys
Why
know-
do you look at
Gross.
me when you're talking about how gross sex is?
Because you're the one I have gross sex with.
I
have
do
to
not
go.
think it's gross.
Do you guys know Josh Molina from
Yes.
West Wing and
Yeah.
everything? He used to be on the Thrilling Adventure Hour when I was around. And he's the world's funnest dude. And he's always like messing with people. Like it was like apparently a thing like on some show he was on to just like slap scripts out of someone's hand. It's like he's just so funny. It's constant. And one of the things is if somebody leaves their phone down and he sees it, he will pick it up, open up your social media and type "I'm horny." It would like
you
every
leave
now
it.
and again I would like be on Twitter back in the day and see like somebody's like I'm horny and like, oh, Josh Molina got their phone.
That's pretty funny.
It's like the dumbest thing to write.
So we are pre-recording this so that we'll be covered for Labor Day.
Yeah.
Labor Day, I feel like, sneaks up every year. And by that, I don't mean that all of a sudden I'm like, I can't believe it's September already. I just mean I have no sense of when Labor Day is. But I
Right.
feel like everyone else is marking things. Okay, I have another thing to say.
Is it
about,
always the first Monday of September?
Yes.
Oh, it
Okay.
floats. No wonder I
Floats.
never know.
Yeah, always the
Okay.
first Monday. Yeah,
I
because
didn't know
I
that.
always remember that because of the birthday, and it was
Yeah.
always exciting if it fell on Labor Day. 'Cause it was
Yeah.
like, no school.
So Labor Day and Memorial Day, people mark time by, and I don't. Well, Memorial Day's end of May, right?
Well, because it's kind of the unofficial like beginning and ending of summer.
I guess.
Even though like here summer ends in October. It's so
Another-
fucking hot.
Yeah, it's true.
Another
Yeah, that's
thing
when it gets worse.
that I feel like everyone knows, but I don't, and I want to know how people handle it. I am always surprised when my car needs service. Like I am not on top of it needs regular service at these intervals. It's in my, I should not be saying this in case I want to sell one, but our cars we take great care of them. And you could not find a better car if we want to sell our cars. But I always feel like I'm like, it always comes out of nowhere and I wasn't on top of it. And I feel like I don't have a system in place for being organized regarding tires and oil and all of that stuff. Like Daniel, I know how you do it because
I do it because you tell me to. Can you
Yeah.
go do this? And
Yeah.
then I do it.
but Todd and Tony, like, how do you stay on top of your car? You don't. Okay, maybe no one does.
No, I don't think anybody does.
Not too much. The only like oil change because they always put that little sticker on it.
Yeah.
So I'll like peek at that. But other than that, that's
But
about
even that is like, I guess you just have to look at the sticker. There wasn't a sticker last time, so I got thrown off. But it's like, is it synthetic or is it organic or whatever the opposite of synthetic is.
I can't. I
Authentic.
authentic. Is it legit stamped oil? I can't. I never know.
Okay.
I have my car is getting old now, so I have to like think about that. And I've been doing oil changes and all that kind of stuff, but like I don't know, like there's like a 50,000 mile service and an 80,000 mile and like these odd number services like, oh, did you get your 72,000 mile service? I'm like, there's a 72,000 mile service. Like, are you supposed to just have it? Like, am I supposed to put it in my calendar? How?
I think so. I don't know.
worst.
And then also, do you have all of your records in a record place? Like all your car stuff?
I shove papers into my glove box into
that's what I do
a weird
too.
envelope
Okay.
that no one will ever look at.
Cars should have like a little like
They should come
folder
with a
for all
full
the paperwork.
I mean, if you think about it, they do have a lot of places. No, but they should come specifically with the Trapper Keeper.
My last car, it had one of those big manuals as they do, and nowhere
Yes,
where it could go.
same.
And you're like, they should at least
It
make
should
the
fit in the
pocket
glove
in the back
compartment.
seat fit the fucking manual.
Or like under the seat somewhere, like
Literally
somewhere
nowhere.
where you can get to it. I mean, the glove box. You don't have a glove box, is that why?
I think it didn't fit.
I mean, it didn't fit in the glove box.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're like every other thing, you need to have a manual for it. Like, I guess these days, especially with everything moving online, no one has. I throw a manual away when I get it.
It's hard though when it's like a fancy manual that
I
comes
know.
in that like faux leather carrier,
Yep.
and you're like,
Yeah.
well,
I'm supposed to take this seriously.
I know.
I'm gonna go to jail if I throw this away. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to keep all of our instruction manuals and stuff, but I find myself just looking for it online anyway.
I actually found a pile of instruction manuals in a Ziploc bag in the kitchen, and I wondered, should I just throw this out? Like, are we going to be like,
No.
there was something with the Instant Pot that I wanted to know. I need to refer to the manual versus online. Did you say no? Don't throw them out. I didn't, but
Good.
I mean, you can find the manuals online.
But you can. But it's sort of like as a backup in case you can't.
It took me a long time, and I finally gave up. I throw them out right away now.
I mean, maybe
So
we should.
smart.
It does feel so good to throw shit away. Ugh.
And it's just like, it's also like, I think like I had like all these manuals in a drawer, just taking up real estate. And we lived in a tiny house for a while. And I just remember just like, I can't anymore. I'm looking it up all the time anyways. I've never used them.
Yeah.
I never used them. Like, guess what else? Chat GPT. You can be like, I have this model thing. How do I do
Oh,
X,
really?
Y, and Z? Yeah, man. It knows everything. I mean, it's like, it's not always right, but I've noticed with stuff like products like that, like it definitely knows manuals.
interesting.
I haven't. Chat GPT, I haven't started to use.
No,
Have you
me
guys
neither.
gotten into it at all? No.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I've played with it. But I don't know.
I wanted to know what it knew about me.
I haven't fully like integrated in my head what it is as a tool that's useful to me in my life.
It's like,
So
I
I don't know.
remember
Yeah.
like when Google, I remember being like learning how to Google. Do you remember that? Like when the internet
Right.
first happened.
My mom
and be like,
still is learning.
yeah, like you don't know what to put in.
Yeah.
You're like, what do I, like you kind of have to think
do I
in
do?
code.
Yeah.
Like what are the keywords that I want to search
Right.
for? Like it's not immediate. Like it
Horny,
took-
sexual origin.
literally, yeah, like that. Like how do you find the, like, you know what to type in? My, like, remember like Ask Jeeves was like, hey Jeeves. You like write a whole sentence.
And it
How's
always-
everything? By
and-
the way.
I know, and they were always just like, "Well, because I feel like Ask Jeeves was advertised as like ask. Like I remember taking it literal as
Yeah.
like ask it a thing and it'll give you the answer, but it's like no, it just like sends you to other websites that will show you.
Oh,
And
well,
I remember
that's
like
like-
being annoyed by that at
Yeah.
the time.
I feel like so frequently we'll ask SIRI a question, and she'll be like, "I can send results to your iPhone."
Yeah,
It has
No,
never done that.
I've never taken her
I've
up
never.
on that.
I'm waiting for lots of results to be sent to my iPhone. And it never does.
I think that's what the new AI thing is going to be.
Yes.
Because I think it actually, I'm looking forward to the Apple one.
The Apple one is
I
gonna be
like-
interesting.
I like the ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT daily these days. Like I use it for, like I was doing like some sales stuff or something, and I had like looking for people in my, like who I could talk to about stuff. And I'm like, give me a list of people like this, like stores like this, and it's like, brrrt.
But they're
that's
actually
interesting.
real stores and real. See, that's the reason I don't use it is because I feel like it just makes shit up.
Right.
It can, but you can suss out that stuff. I mean, like if you find like. I wouldn't like bet my life on all the stuff, but you can get
But like contact numbers and shit?
no, just like names of stores like that would carry a product or something. And I'd be like, hey, whose stores like in that would like this kind of a thing? And it's like these places, and here's 10. And I'm like, can I have 60? It's like, sure, here's 60. But like that, it's good at that. I use it for coding. Like if I have to like write formulas or something, I use it to code, and it'll spit out exactly what I want. It's like what Ask Jeeves promised to be.
Yeah.
Where you like tell me
really.
the thing. I do the spelling bee game on New York Times. Do you know this one?
Yo, yeah.
And I get it, and I do as far as I can, but I can't walk away even if
So then you turn to Chat GPT?
when I'm done,
Wow.
I'm like, I did as best I can. I'm like, okay, that's what I got, but I have to see what the other ones were.
Oh.
And so I go Chat GPT, and it can't tell you the date. I'm like, what's today's date? It's like the 21st. I'm like, it is not.
A little
Try.
guess.
Like that would be the easiest thing.
Right.
But it's like it doesn't. They train it on old data,
Right.
so it doesn't have anywhere to tap in for new data, as I understand it.
It can't just
Yeah.
like ping the atomic clock or something. Does
Why-
it even know what
why-
time it is?
Let's see. It should know. It should know what fucking date.
The
it is.
Apple
But
one
I'm like,
will.
what's the
The
answers
Apple
for
one will.
today? Apple One will.
Where's the Apple one located?
That's
It's going to
be-
be in the guts of the phone. So
Yeah.
like
Oh.
when you're doing stuff, it'll show up like
like Clippy?
it's going to be a drag.
What if Clippy is back,
Oh yeah.
but now AI
right.
like has an opinion?
You can also talk to Chat GPT.
Yes, our
and
son
have it,
does
and
this
it's pretty,
sometimes.
It's pretty crazy. You can like have a conversation. Here we go. What's the date today?
Today is August 25th, 2024.
No, that was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
I apologize for the mistake. Today is August 26th, 2024.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does she know what time it is?
Do you know what time it is?
Unfortunately, I can't check the exact time. However, if you're on a device, you should be able to easily check the current time from
You
your phone
dumbass.
or setting.
You dumb fuck.
Do you hate me a little bit? You do.
I don't feel hate or any negative emotion.
Yeah, bullshit. You're not here.
Get in touch with yourself. Do you choose the voice?
Yeah.
What did you choose for her?
I just chose a person. It's changing also. That voice is changing over time. When I first chose that voice, I can't, I have to figure out where this is.
What is the race of that voice, honey?
Helpful.
Let's see if I can. I just saw that. It's pretty interesting.
She's
the
a
different
kind
voices.
black woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed a lot. It's really interesting over times. Data control. Oh no. Oh, here. So this one is called Juniper. There's this one.
Hey, it's great to meet you. How's your day going?
That's
I'm really looking forward to working on some cool stuff together.
Oh, that's
You know who that
a
reminds me?
non-binary coder.
That reminds me of the guy that created hacks that was in Broad
Oh.
City.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Oh,
I know. Yeah. I
yeah,
can't think
Paul
of-
Downs.
Paul Downs.
Yeah.
He's like it definitely like hey.
Yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
he's very chipper. I can't have it. Here's one. Let's do this one.
Hi there. I just want to share how thrilled I am to work with you, and I can't wait to get started. So what's the game plan?
Are these
Mm.
someone's voice?
I
No.
think no.
So they're all AI.
They're not somebody that
They're
they
not
modeled.
modeled on,
but
like,
the
someone.
Scarlett Johansson one was. It sounded
There
to
was
me
a Scarlett
exactly like
Johansson
her. There was. I don't know if they still.
I can't remember.
There was a loss. She sued them.
Oh yeah. Have you seen her? The
Yes.
movie Her. Have you seen it, Tony?
Yeah.
I just
pretty
watched
good.
it again recently because of everything.
How does it
and I'm
hold up?
like, it's goddamn accurate. Like
Yeah.
we're on the path. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know someone who lets their kid chat with Chat GPT, and and Elliot wanted to do it, and I was just like, no, but I couldn't tell him why
Yeah.
because I don't know if it's actually bad.
Son,
I just
it bad.
it's just like no technology go. This is it. Daddy says this is the limit.
I've done it with my daughter, but my wife is not having it. She's real mad at me about it. But we do it like we talk about like what books she likes, and it'll give us suggestions for other books.
Yeah.
In that vein.
Yeah, I mean, of all the things we let them do online, it's actually probably less worrisome than talking to actual.
The only
and
argument I
gaming
could
and
think
things.
of is like, I think some of the information isn't true.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, well, because
Meanwhile, they're on YouTube.
well, yeah, but like, oh man,
Everything
fucking
is
YouTube,
too
man.
true.
Fucking YouTube. But it's like we turn off all the comment stuff and anything where he could get likes. Because I feel like the limitations of my ability to suss this shit out is like I know it's not good to chase likes, so that's and to interact with strangers. So those are the two things. Like if he's on Roblox, I'll turn off the ability for strangers to communicate with him, that kind of shit. But like when you get into this, is there some corrupting influence of an AI or no? Probably
I
not,
don't know.
right?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's like everyone's like afraid of their data, like it's taking your data or something. But I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I can get absolutely insane. Like I definitely have a camera cover on my computer, like a slides over in
Every
front
now
of it.
and then, I think I should.
Like I go all the way there, but I'm also like, yeah, I have everything. I don't care. Like I don't understand. Like
Sometimes if you and I are trying to work, we don't have regular childcare anymore. We just have like on days where I record or something, we'll have a babysitter. But so when you and I both need to work, and Elliot is like, mommy, daddy, mommy, mommy, daddy, mommy, and he wants a witness to something or whatever. Yeah. I do wonder if he had a relationship with. I mean, this is sad, but like with Chat GPT, if that might.
I think what my feeling about it, like that my negative feeling about it is like, I don't want him to get comfortable with fake relationships. I don't want him to start to like think that that's okay. Like I want him to have real human connections.
Yeah.
And like if that gets normalized too much in his head, like I'm like, this is real, then I don't know. You don't
think he can tell the difference between whether it's real or not?
I worry that he'll get conditioned to be to have that itch scratched by something that's not real too much. Like I don't know.
That's what social media does for me.
Like in Japan, there's a real problem because a lot of young men are opting out of dating and they're just online and stuff. And there's all sorts of reasons for that. But it's like, I don't know. It's like the idea of being alone. I don't want that to be an option. I don't know. It's
isolating.
It's too isolating. Yeah. Like we're here to be with each other. We're not here to be with AIs.
I like I like a technology geek kind of, and I like I have an awareness in that there is a time coming that like how we treat robots is going to be a conversation. Like, and I'm like, I try to be polite to Chat GPT in front of my daughter as a way to be like, I know this is insane, but there is like a thing about
there'll be a record when it becomes sentient. They'll look back to look at he fucking look at the shit he talked to Siri.
But there's like a thing about like putting kindness in the world, no matter if it's a robot or a human. That's like valid, and I think there's like I don't know, like there's like there's gonna be.
Do you think there's going to be a reckoning? Is that what you're suggesting?
I think there's going to be. I just know. Well, maybe, but I think that they will believe that they're alive, and something that's. We were talking about this last week about dogs. What they know, like
right.
At some point, like if it believes it's alive, there's a thing like you have to treat it with the respect of something that's living, right?
Yeah, I don't
think
it'll ever. I don't believe that AIs will ever have consciousness. So I don't.
But like that's like,
but I think what Todd's talking about, if I'm hearing right, is like training them how to be good people, and if we are shitting all over them, then they'll become shitty.
Yeah, that's what what I heard. That's interesting. For a long time, you hear people go like, "Oh, I'm afraid of AI. We need to we need to make sure that we're understanding and regulating this before it grows out of control and kills humanity."
Right.
And it just feels like really, but. Like, okay, well, what was that Lawnmower Man or whatever? You're watching too many movies. But One thing I read that was kind of started to help me see what the fear was is that like AIs could theoretically develop languages that we couldn't possibly decipher that other AIs could understand. And then once that starts to happen, then instead of them interacting with us, they're interacting with each other, and we wouldn't be able to know what it was that they were saying or doing. And if we linked all of our society to it and everything was controlled by it, that's a problem. Because if humanity can't turn the switch off, if humanity can't like get into the guts of this program anymore because it's walled us off by some sort of like thing, that's potentially the problem.
They could start hosting their own podcast and we wouldn't know what they're about. They could be talking about us.
They're just talking shit about humans are so dumb.
I know.
Oh my God.
They
Anyway,
can only think about one thing at once.
so be nice.
Goodness. So does anyone have any Labor Day plans? Sounds like Tony has birthday plans. Todd, do you have birthday plans?
Yeah. No. My birthday is nothing. I'm just happy I'm still here. We're gonna go. I think we're gonna be with my in-laws in San Diego. But, yeah, we almost had to. Our fence came down at our yard, and we have like an area behind our house that is like no man's land, where like people are living, maybe.
Oh,
and
really?
like,
what's the maybe part of it?
like there was a mattress up there and a dude that would sleep there. Some maybe.
Wait,
I think-
no, you're not. I went and did Feliz Navipod at your old place.
in
Okay,
Echo
yes.
Park, yeah. But yeah, it's east like Los Angeles. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like it's the street behind it's like people just dump trash back there. So we're on the bottom of a hill, so you can't really see it from the house. It doesn't, but last week somebody like abandoned a car up there.
Oh my
And then
God.
somebody else ripped out of the back seat and threw it into our yard. So I'm like, I guess this is what I do. I have to like,
Wow.
yeah, it's like, it's just getting a little rowdy.
Wait, what was the game plan with ripping out the back seat and throwing it into your yard? They
I
wanted the rest of the car?
I think drugs. I think it's just fun.
The answer
drugs.
is always drugs.
I think
Like,
it was
Right,
like-
but they were discarding the back seat?
I guess. Who knows? I think it's like maybe just some kids were like thinking it was
Oh,
fun to mess with
I
the
see.
car
Okay.
too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
fun.
like the guts of a car. There are no tires, nothing on it, just like the skeleton of a car. It's wild. Somebody just dumped it behind there, and so then in throwing the seat over, they also tore our fence down. So I was like,
that
I guess
sucks.
I'm gonna have to build a fence. Like I was
Oh,
like
man.
over the weekend, I was like, I'm gonna have to go build a
At
fence.
least
But-
you know how to get wood.
yeah. So
Guy.
yeah. So, but luckily, it turns out I don't have to do that now, which is great news.
Why?
We have a contractor that we work with who's going to help us with the first part of it. There's going to be like a whole thing.
I actually bet your homeowner's insurance might cover some of that.
You think so?
Yes, except I also, okay, this is not any sort of binding or even sensible or good advice. I think so, but I also think that if you, here's what I've heard. This is such unfortunate advice. Like, don't file a claim unless it's like really big, because if you file a claim, then your homeowner's insurance might try to drop you, or they might like jack up your rates. I don't know how true that is, but I do suspect you might be able to get covered.
Yeah.
You have to think about if it's worth it with the deductible and then the other stuff.
Insurance is such a goddamn scam.
It's such a racket.
Well,
It's infuriating. And now it's all failing, which is all terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that you could buy a home in Florida and not have any home insurance because they won't cover it is wild.
Is that happening now?
Yeah, like I think State Farm is no longer covering in
They
Florida.
were trying to leave California and something
They've
happened.
abandoned parts of California. I know that if you live in like La Cañada sort of area, you cannot get fire insurance. You can't get home insurance.
We
It's just
were
too
looking.
Doesn't sound like a good neighbor to me.
I know. Yeah, it's like, but it's
Yeah.
not just State Farm. I mean, it's all the insurance companies.
I mean, California has a thing where like now there's like state fire insurance because like most of the privates are leaving and they're-
Right.
Well, there should be though. Like there should be something where they're not gouging you, because their whole business model, of course, is to basically make sure they don't pay out. Right, so they're not going to be anywhere where they would have to pay out. It's crazy.
That's the other thing is like the profits are fine.
Oh, the profit.
They're not getting profit. So
Right.
what's
the big?
fucking fix it. Also, why do those private companies have to every year show that they're doing better than the previous year?
Yeah.
That type of a business should be exempt from that. Like you shouldn't
Like they shouldn't be publicly traded.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why it should be government run or something, or some
Exactly.
sort of highly. Well, I think there's been talk about having some sort of mandatory thing that's government regulated in places like Florida. I don't know.
Speaking of insurance, which I know is riveting, do you guys have pet insurance?
I do not.
I
you?
don't.
You
I
don't?
thought
Okay.
about it. Did you guys get it?
No, but given all of Wendy's health things, I was like, and also the fact that it seems like everyone recommends pet insurance right now. Now that we have Petey, I was like, I'm going to get pet insurance. I'm not going to make the mistake that we made with Wendy, blah, blah, blah. And you got to do it young because Cavaliers they develop health problems.
Oh, really?
I was-
early.
Yeah, I mean, not always early, but with Wendy, her heart murmur first popped up like way earlier than it was supposed to when she was 3. And it didn't become a problem until she got a lot older. But at the same time, it wouldn't have been insured because it's like a pre-existing thing.
Right.
Right. So, but I started looking into the different pet insurances. They are very expensive.
I know.
They're so expensive, the ones I looked into, that I thought, okay, basically it all is kind of the same. Like either you're paying $1,000 or $2,000 once every few years, or you're paying $1,000 a year, and then I was surprised. I figured, I don't know why I thought it was going to be not that much each month, but it's like at least $100 a month.
Oh yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're talking right away. It's like that's $1,200 a year,
Right.
Yeah.
and like over the life of a pet, that's 1 or 2 run-ins with a vet.
Right. Right. So maybe it does make sense in case there's something like extra expensive.
But unless
Oh, I see what you're
it's
saying.
not-
You're saying 1 or 2 run-ins with a vet. I thought you were saying like 1 or 2 run-ins with a vet is going to end up costing the same as $1,200 a year.
roughly like over the life of a
Right.
pet, maybe. But then you're like, if they have 3, or if they have something but if they have something that's not covered, it's like it doesn't matter. You're
Yeah,
out,
I've
you're out the
heard-
money anyways.
I've had people tell me that it kind of doesn't do anything also.
Really? I think it
Yeah.
depends. If you
Yeah.
want the good coverage, then it's really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a dog that passed, and after he passed, I was like, okay, when we got Pete,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get it because like I don't want to. And then I was like, he's young and healthy. Not 3 weeks later, he was in the vet and almost died, and it was like, whatever the cost of it is, like that it's $2,000 more at a vet.
Yeah.
It always is. And also, for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know if you guys feel this too. It feels like you're not even supposed to notice the price or balk at the price, or they'll just be like, hey, that's $917. It's like, I don't know what it is about that situation, but somehow it divorces me from the ability to like feel like I can notice or think about money. Like I'm just supposed to be like, oh, okay, 4 figures, no problem.
I feel like I've had vets who like have an awareness, and it is such a gift when a vet goes, it's a lot. And you go, God almighty, because it's like, it's always sticker shock.
Yes.
I mean, like, dude, we paid I think we ended up paying like $7,000 or $8,000 for a surgery.
Yeah.
Or
What
not
was
for a
wrong with
surgery.
him?
What's this?
What was wrong with him?
He got like a parvo or something.
Oh,
like
that
early,
is a
and it was
gnarly
like
thing, yeah.
gnarly. And they had him in like oxygen. And you know, if you were like 9 years old, it'd be like, all right, man, like that's.
Yeah.
But he was a puppy. He had his whole
Right.
life ahead of him. And it's also like, I don't want to say that. Like, who knows? But like, maybe we'd been like, yeah, absolutely. But like,
Well, there's certainly people who wouldn't have been able to do anything.
it just, that's the thing is like why, and I get it that the vet is like, this is what it costs you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But like to shame you for like being shocked by the price is like, bro,
it's a lot of money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like that? It's everywhere. Or is it just because we're in Los Angeles?
Mm,
Oh, that's a good question. I
Well, how
bet
much?
it's more here.
I'm sure.
Was Tokyo crazy?
So
No.
actually, because the yen is weak right now, it was not crazy. That's part of why
Yeah.
we went.
That's part of what. Yeah, like right now, everything's really cheap in Japan.
Everything
Really?
at that because we take Wendy to a cardiologist, like a specialty, vet group cardiologist where she's really good, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
We took her to Japan, and they did the same test and it was like half as much.
I believe that.
There's people I know who do this, who get this surgery for their dog, and then for the year checkup, they go back to the clinic in Japan, which I don't think we would do because the idea of
too much for
traveling to
us.
Japan again is like, no, I don't want to, not with a dog and children. But I was talking to another woman whose dog had the surgery, because there's this Facebook group for people whose dogs have had the surgery, and that's how I learned about it. And like I'm sort of in this community now of people who have done this. And she was saying, like, I totally understand why people go back a year later, because the care is so good and it's half as much.
Yeah, and
It's surprising.
And you
that it's-
could the whole trip is actually cheaper than just taking it to an American vet.
That's
That's
what I
how
was-
that's how
Yeah.
fucking much more expensive it is here.
I was thinking that. I was like, I bet it's cheaper to just
Yeah.
like fly
and
your
the
whole-
care is
Yeah.
so much better.
How do they
They're
feel about you
incredible.
being American?
So there were a couple comments she made. Overall, like,
They
actually,
were
I have
brilliant. They loved us.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, outwardly, who knows what they really.
But I was the day
they're
of
lovely.
the morning of the surgery. I asked what percentage don't survive the surgery, like, you know, don't wake up after the surgery or whatever. And she said, you know, 3%, like in the course of a year, 3% don't. But, you know, the greater risk of mortality is in the postoperative phase. And she gave me those figures, which were all very, the chances are very small of something happening, but still. And then either I said, that's not going to happen, or I said, or Daniel said, think positive, something like that. And she's like, either she said, think positive, Americans are good at that, or he said, think positive, and she said, Americans are good at that. But it didn't seem like a compliment.
Yeah.
It was interesting the way it didn't seem like one.
It's very like I also like when I love Japan.
Have you been there?
Yeah, Tokyo is maybe one of my favorite places on this earth. I just love it there. I can't get enough of it. And but there is like an underlying. I'm aware
A superiority.
And
That's
like
earned.
they're not crazy about it. Like
About you.
yeah, I mean, they're also like I think that they're appropriately skeptical. Like they're like, cool, like welcome, enjoy it. Like I'm glad you're here. Like take it easy. Like let's not go nuts.
Yeah.
I think is like the vibe, which I
There's
appreciate.
like
Mhm.
a distance.
Yes.
for sure.
It's like welcome. When are you leaving? Like you'll be here for.
They're
a
not
couple weeks.
overly. They're not overly. It's such a weird thing because they are nice.
They're so kind.
They're so
Like,
nice.
yeah.
They're as warm
They're-
as could be.
They're like yes, but it's weird. At the same time, they're not warm.
Yeah. Oh, you think they're not warm? You think it's
they're
like
not.
a little.
They're
cold.
not. Well, they can be.
Yeah.
But generally, they're just very. There's just. I always.
Yeah.
Felt like there's always this distance. It was hard to connect, and now part of it's language, of course. But like, I don't know. I think it's Japanese culture to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
very reserved.
It's like part of the politeness is to separate yourself.
But I think
and
they're
not
that way with
expect
each other
friendly-
too.
That's
I don't
what
think
mean,
that
yeah.
that's like because we're American. Although Americans are allowed, like culturally, we're very different, and I think that from their point of view, I can totally get it. Like
Yeah.
at one time we were in. I feel like we did a really good job in Japan, but then one night we went out for ramen, and we were in this place, and I saw something online that I was just like. Just got my head on fire, and I was like talking to Allison about it, and I can be loud.
Although I was the loud one.
She
in
was the
Japan,
loud one the whole trip,
which is stunning because we always joke that Daniel does not have an inside voice.
yeah.
And I am like pretty aware of stuff, or I try to be, but for some reason, Daniel shushed me 6,000 times
Yeah.
on the
you
train.
you were very loud on the train.
For some reason on the train, I
She's
got
just like a
loud.
New Yorker.
Because that's what I was gonna say. You're in New York, like you're
so.
used to yelling over the sounds of.
Exactly.
I think so. I think I was fighting the subway sound.
Yeah.
But I was talking and I was just ranting about whatever, and I got some looks from the older Japanese men at the counter who were having their ramen, like. And I realized, like, yeah, I was being a loud, obnoxious American. I was. And they're right. They're correct. This is their culture. I was
right.
being too loud. You know, like, but this is how we are in America.
No,
you know what I mean?
amazing.
And so, like, it's of course it's going to be like it's going to rub up against what
Yeah, that's right.
what they're comfortable with, and we're too friendly, and we make eye contact. they don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like it
We
feels
take our food to
to
go.
a Japanese person that feels very confrontational. It
Yeah.
feels very aggressive, and so like I get it. I totally respect that about them. It's just like I'm not. It was hard for me to ever just like go.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to connect more with people. I wanted to like have more. I don't know. I wanted to make love to all of them. Is that weird?
No, that's
He was
you're horny.
I was horny. I was horny for Japan. Is that weird? I don't think it's weird.
Tony, when you were there, did you feel like you got to know Japanese people?
Maybe a little. Like some people here and there, like we became friends with, or some maybe people in our crew like already knew some people there, and then we became friends with them. But yeah, I've always had really positive experiences with everybody there.
Yeah. We didn't have any negative experiences.
no.
It was more just we didn't feel like, oh, we made any friends. You know, not
Yeah.
that we were
I
necessarily
mean,
even trying,
yeah.
but
It's just
look, we make friends everywhere we go, except you know, except Japan.
it's there's a lot to love, but I think that if I were to go back, I wouldn't do an urban experience.
Yeah, I think
Either.
that was part of the thing for you guys.
Yeah.
that you were in Yokohama most of the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was that.
I would have liked to go to Kyoto next time.
I think I would if I go back, I would go to Kyoto or Osaka.
Osaka's awesome.
Yeah,
I've never
Osaka's neat.
Oh, really? Yeah,
been to
I might
Kyoto,
like
but-
Osaka a little bit more because it's still got tons of stuff, but it's a little more chill than Tokyo is.
Yeah.
I love Tokyo. I like that.
No, I do too.
It's bonkers. I love it so
It is.
much.
It is bonkers. It's like New York times Los Angeles. It's so fucking. That's a Phil
Rosenthal yeah.
line, and it's true. It's like it's the sprawl of L.A., but the density of New York. It's wild.
I still have dreams I'm walking through Tokyo because of just every street you go down is its own street and it looks different and it has like a totally like you like Shibuya like Times Square and then
Yeah.
you have like Daikanyama like
And all those little
hipster
alleyways and
east-
shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and
there's
I
like 3 levels of shops.
That's what I
everywhere.
loved.
Yeah.
Allison didn't love this so much, but like we got lost in Yokohama Station,
best.
and it was just like this is Blade Runner shit in the sense that like we're in like an ant's
Yes.
fucking farm. We're on like level -4, and all of a sudden we're in like a food court, or there's like a you know there's a high upscale mall, and none of it's laid out in a grid. It's all very like. And there's so much food everywhere. Like every fucking
Everywhere.
other shop is like you could just walk in and they're grilling like eel. Like
Did you
it's-
have soft serve there? Or they call it soft cream.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's so good.
Really?
Their
That's
soft
what I-
serve is
yes.
amazing.
It's so. I had
can't
it
remember ever
2
having
different
it.
places. I kept seeing pictures of soft serve. Like I'm not a person who it consumes a ton of soft serve regularly, but I began to want it when I was there because I was seeing pictures of it. So then I got it in 2 different places, and it was so good, and it was milk flavored.
It wasn't overly sweet, but it
was
wasn't
really
quite tart.
creamy. But I looked
It
it,
was
up,
very
and the milk they make it from has a higher fat content, so
they-
that's like what
that
is
makes
so
sense.
good.
There's a region of Japan
Hokkaido.
that
Yeah.
that has like cows, and they do special shit with the cows. I don't know what they do.
We wanted to go.
Thank you.
We've been wanting to go to Japan for Christmas one year.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I just think it'd
For
be
fried
so
chicken?
fun. I just think
I know about that.
You know
is
what I'm
that
talking
a
about?
fried chicken thing?
So Kentucky Fried Chicken convinced Japan that the Christmas tradition is that everybody eats fried chicken, and, which is goddamn brilliant.
Yeah.
I have to I want to know who came up with that idea, because now that's the tradition in Japan for Christmas is to get fried chicken.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I tried to ask people about it, and it didn't seem like it's as huge of a thing
Okay.
as stories go out, but there definitely were people that were like, oh yeah, that's yeah.
Well, because they don't celebrate Christmas,
Right.
really. So it's not, yeah. It's
We were
funny.
there on Halloween, which was amazing. And it was like a newer thing for them. Like they had just started doing Halloween. So it was so fun because you could see them like trying it on as a culture. Like, do we like this? But because it's like Japan is such like a community based culture, like you're not an individual. You like go out, like it's you, I mean, you're an individual, but you like, it's so group oriented.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Like-
did they do group costumes?
Everyone was group costumes. We were in Shibuya that night in the famous spot, like
Yeah.
where the two
crossing.
crosswalks are.
Which, by the way, was much smaller than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I was thinking in my brain, Shibuya Crossing is just like fucking massive. And we're just like, oh,
There it
there's
is.
just a lot of people here.
Yeah.
But it's like not a huge, yeah.
It's just like all those roads need
Right.
to pass there,
Right,
and it's
right.
like where everyone's walking. We stayed in a hotel that had a view of it. Which
Oh,
was
same.
crazy.
wow.
I've stayed in that same
Beast-
hotel.
yeah, with Cameron. But yeah, it's a great little hotel, and it was so funny. Every group, it was like there were like 3 costumes. It was my favorite was Where's Waldo? Because everyone in the group dressed like Waldo, which
He's
goes
everywhere.
against the point of Where's Waldo. It was my favorite.
One of the Halloween things I read about that they do in Japan now is to dress as mundane,
Yes,
sort of.
this is what I
You know
heard
what I'm talking
this
about?
too. Yeah, I was actually literally in the process of trying to find some examples.
Yeah. What was it? It was like sort of like kind of humorous, mundane things that happen in everyday life. So it's not like you're dressing as some crazy thing. It's like a super
Like a just mirror everyone?
conceptual. Yeah, it's sort of a super conceptual thing. Like I'm that awkward moment at the coffee shop,
Oh
the
my
coffee
God,
pot at
really?
work.
That's kind of
Yeah.
brilliant.
Oh, I love Japan so much.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
God damn it. I would want to live there, but I don't.
How many times have you been?
I've only been twice. Only
Was
gotten to
it
go 2
for
times.
where you're working or
The first time I went, I was a kid. My best friend in high school, his dad went and it was in the Navy and was stationed, and he was like, "Come out." And I went for 3 weeks and stayed with them and just
and that was in Tokyo?
in Tokyo.
Oh,
And we
wow.
were like first year of college, so we were just like taking trains all over the city.
That's the
The
best.
freedom
The trip.
of like just hopping. Like I'd never lived in a city.
I fucking
Yeah.
miss
And
that.
it's so safe.
When we came back here
So
and I was
safe.
I was driving, like I was driving as the crow flies, like a mile and a half, and it took me 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, the fucking convenience of the trains in Tokyo is as massive as I just said it is. You can get anywhere by train,
And they come
Anywhere.
one right after.
Yeah.
Like New York, I remember going to like Paris, and I'd been in Tokyo not too far before that, and I got to New York, and I was like, it's 30 minutes for a fucking train.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
some of them.
Tokyo just, it's amazing. But yeah, I miss it. I need to go back.
And what was the second time you were
Second time was Sarah was on tour, and I went with her, and that was fun because we had a guide. So we
there? That's nice.
having a guide, which you probably had, like when you said,
Yeah, it's the only way I've been, really.
like you do have
Must
like
be
a
nice.
Japanese person. You have a Japanese person with you who like is caring for you and is open to you,
Right.
and wants to have a relationship, which is why I experienced Japan in that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
right.
we met her parents, her family.
Oh, that's neat.
And,
Yeah.
And knows the places to go.
yeah.
It's so huge that if you're just going in
Yeah.
and you don't know where to go, it's like
It's overwhelming.
It's
Yeah.
It's you could. I said this before. Like you could go to Tokyo 10 times and experience 10 completely different cities.
100%.
Right? Like it's like you've got just every neighborhood has its own complete character, and it's just like this is you don't even know you're in the same city.
On Reddit, I found there was a subreddit where someone would just film themselves. It was like a camera, like on someone's hat or like on their like shirt or something, and it was just them walking through Tokyo.
Oh, yeah. I've seen, you could find that for like everywhere,
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
That's kind of a
So
cool thing.
if
I
you
like
miss
that.
if you miss somewhere, you just go and watch, and it's not. You just see. It looks like you're walking on the street.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
and
neat.
it feels like it. It is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, no, it is. I've seen that too. Like, I'll get sort of that on TikTok where at night it's like people walking through Seattle or whatever. But just like those city tours where you could just be like pretending you're there. Yeah, it's wild.
Let's do just me or everyone, unless you found some mundane situations.
Well, I found like a few, but I will just. It's hard because they all have pictures with them, and so it's better with the pictures.
Right.
But I think my favorite example was guy reading in bed who accidentally drops his smartphone on his face.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. They are just me or everyone.
Yes, they are.
That is so good.
We should have this show through AI translated into Japanese with AI voices, AI Japanese voices.
Oh, and then we can be popular in Japan.
And then we could be popular
There
in
you
Japan.
go.
And then when we
Live
go
show.
back to Japan, we'll be like, you
the
know,
toast of the town.
yeah.
You have a host. You could do the whole thing.
Yes. Oh, that's a good idea. Look, put that on your list.
Okay.
Do that.
What if we did it for every language, and then we're
Every
popular
language.
throughout?
Did anybody reach out and say, "Hey, I listened to your show. I live in Japan." When you were over there,
No.
listeners, do you live in Japan?
But I do have a
don't know.
listener who lived in Japan.
I don't think we have a lot of listeners in
think I have a-
Japan.
no, I don't think I have a
But
lot.
we will. We'll be the
Yeah.
Yoshiki of podcasting. Do you get that?
I don't.
None of us
He's like
do.
this. He's like a big rock star, and he's like the Mick Jagger of Japan.
I love it. Oh God.
And
We'll be him.
yeah, we'll be him.
All right, just me or everyone?
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right, Todd, might you have one?
I kind of talked about it last time, but my thing is like, I know this is going back on, we talked about the last podcast, but like, how many people do you not like is the question I actually have, which is like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't have that many people I don't like. Like most of the
Are you
people
talking
I know,
about people you interact with regularly, or just as you go through the course of a day, do you
Good.
tend to dislike people?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too.
that's a good differentiator. And I'm open to both conversations.
Okay.
I was thinking about people I know, but like, I also am like, how many people rub me the wrong way is another.
I'm working on this. This is actually something I'm actively working on,
Yeah.
which is I tend to, by default, just not like everybody I see.
Is that right? Your start there?
It's an unconscious, especially if they're in my way.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
especially if it's like traffic. It's just like I have a.
That's
I don't maybe necessarily default to I don't like them, but I will get annoyed so fucking easily.
Yeah.
And like people, Flo and I both are like very fast walkers, and like anytime we
yeah.
go
If you're in
like
my
busy
way,
places,
yeah.
it drives us fucking crazy, and
Right.
people, terrible drivers drive us. So like everyone drives me crazy.
I'm working on that. But in terms of people in my life that I know that I don't like, I don't think there's that many. There's one guy. There's probably more than this one guy, but like there's this one guy I knew back in the day when we were all in our 20s, and he was on the, he was trying to be a producer. He did end up being a producer. I won't say his name. And he is a fucking piece of shit. I fucking hate him. And
I don't even know who this is.
like, but he's not in my life. He's just like, oh, that fucking. There are people like that,
Yeah.
but I don't keep those people around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
I like having the ability to give those people up is such a nice thing to be able to be like, oh, I just don't like this person. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
That's like a thing you learn in your 30s, maybe. Like I feel like in my 20s, I put up with people a lot.
Yeah.
Same.
And then my
Yeah.
30s, like I don't have time for
I don't
this.
need this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I don't think there are many. I have like maybe 3 or 4 people where I'm like, most people I'd be like, I get a beer with that guy.
Right.
I'd hang out with that person. Like no problem. But like there are people on my list where I'm like, if they were like, let's hang out, I'd be like, nah, I'm okay.
Yeah, I had friends who were like, they would be friends with anybody, and so as a result, they would be friends with assholes, and then I would have to hang out with the asshole because of my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's usually how that went down.
What about you? Tony? What's your dislike ratio?
Kind of the same. I try to just not be around those people, but I think there's like people here and there that same thing, just kind of drive me crazy. But I try to not be around them too much if I don't
Yeah.
have to. Yeah.
I don't think I dislike. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone regularly in my life that I dislike. And then in terms of like moving through the world, I don't think I form opinions about people that much unless they're like egregiously annoying or something. Like I have like a Twitter feed in my head constantly of I'm just, noticing and making comments and making jokes and is that a joke and da-da-da. Like there is a lot of thought about people, but I don't think it's like or dislike really. Although I do remember orientation at college. So all the first years we came out, 2 weeks or 10 days ahead, and we were put in these groups of like people that you lived in the dorm hall with. And there was this girl who was like, I can't believe we're in California. Like, aren't you so excited to be in California? And she was so positive. And I was just like, ugh. And she ended up becoming one of my good friends.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then ultimately we actually had a falling out because she was a very terrible person, which makes me think maybe I read it correctly to begin with. Yeah. But that I never put it together that actually maybe I was reacting to something. She was just very mean. But I know that this is actually, I'm going to have to reprocess all this. But I know that for the longest time I was like, why did I'm put in a group. Why am I having this negative reaction about like most of the people here? All of them ended up, I liked all of them once I got to know them. But my first reaction was one of, oh, you think you're so special. Oh, you think you're this. Oh, you think, I don't think I do that so much anymore though.
Huh.
I think that, like, thinking about it now, when I have that reaction to a person, most of the time it's because they're like, I'm picking up on the fact that they're like a narcissist or some sort of like, there's something, there's like the non-smiling eyes, you know what I mean?
There
like
actually was something about her. I mean,
it's like I have,
but I never thought that maybe I was actually picking up on it.
I think I'm really good at picking out, recognizing when somebody is
personality disorder.
Yeah, because I grew up with that, so I know what to see. I have like a visceral reaction, and so I'll be like, I don't like that person, and then I'll feel guilty because I've judged that person, and then find out later that yes, I was right.
Yeah, there's a fine line sometimes with the people that are like overly positive. I think sometimes like I'm
toxic positivity.
Yes, like I'm trying to be more positive, and I like to be around positive people, but sometimes it just comes off so phony, and I'm like, there's no way you're really this stoked about everything.
Especially when you're around a person like that, and you say something critical about something, and they go, "Well, I like," and then you don't like everything. Fuck you. You do not like everything. Be honest, you fucking fake motherfucker. Like, God.
Well, but also, if you're saying something negative, instead of taking the opportunity to connect with you by agreeing or adding to it, they're actually shutting you down and kind of acting
like
holier
above,
than thou.
Yeah.
So fuck them and their fucking positivity.
Your whole demeanor changed on that.
I know. I changed my mind. This has been delightful.
I have a Just Mirror Everyone.
Oh my God.
I sort of do too.
Before the second show,
I'm sorry. I forgot. Please, Daniel, and then Tony. Let's hear your Just Mirror Everyone.
I don't remember. Wait, what was it? No. When I'm on a Zoom call, and it's over, I hesitate to hang up because I don't want everyone to see how eager I was to get off the Zoom call. I don't want to be like that first person to hang up. So I will linger an extra beat because I don't want people to be like, wow, gee, couldn't wait to hang up on us.
But you respect the person who's the first out, don't you?
I not only respect it, I fucking am jealous. Yeah, it's like, wow.
There's like a power and be like, all right, thanks everyone. Click.
Well, you know what? I'll often be like, how did they hang up so fast?
Were they hovering over it?
Is there a quick key that they're using? Like, some people are fucking
They're just
fast.
like hovering over it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Boom. That's true. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I do that. Probably.
It's definitely crossed my mind, but I think I dislike Zoom so much that I'm just like, get me the fuck out of here every
Get
time.
out. Yeah.
It's such a weird necessity. It solves the problem, but god damn, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Or here's another one. It's like when someone is like invites you to one of the goofy alternatives, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, I know. Like,
am I doing this one? I'm doing
GoToMeeting.
Teams. I'm doing Microsoft Teams now.
I was on a Teams meeting there. I was like, god damn. Like, you get the email, you're like, I don't want to get to log into this thing.
I know.
Like, oh, are you in the Microsoft universe? Fucking Teams.
Clippy comes on. Tries to
Why
talk to
are
fucking
we
Clippy.
using why are we using Google Meet? Like, I don't understand. Zoom is just the one that works the best, right?
There's always those people that are just like,
I have an Android.
Yeah, they think, they want to use the different thing.
I like the way that Zoom showed up on the scene in like 2020 after FaceTime had existed for, I don't know, 37 years.
Yeah.
And Zoom is like, hey, what if you could see each other while you're talking? You're like, we do, but on your computer. And you're like,
Right.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But and then they dominated the space.
It is weird how that
Well,
happened.
it was
I
right
remember
during
someone-
COVID. That's when it happened.
No, but Todd's point is they weren't like,
They weren't first to market,
yeah.
No,
FaceTime
I don't think
was.
people thought of FaceTime in a business context.
Right.
Yeah.
which is so weird. Like
Right.
no one was like, let's just FaceTime about it.
I remember
So
someone.
crazy.
I remember someone offering to meet with me over Zoom before COVID, and I was like, I don't even know
Maybe
what
it's
that
because
is.
PC, like in business,
that's
you use
why.
PCs more.
Or
That
could
makes sense.
Could it be as simple? Although I guess you don't really do this with phone calls, but like, is it because like with Zoom, you can like set the meeting up and send the invitation to everybody through email and all,
Yeah,
like
you can
Tony,
Is it-
on
Advertise it.
FaceTime, I could look like I'm on a roller coaster.
Now you can do that on Zoom too.
I know.
Yeah, but the FaceTime experience is a better one.
Right?
Is it?
I prefer it.
I'm
Yeah.
never on FaceTime. Oh, I guess
Maybe it's because it's so integrated into my computer.
I think maybe it's too personal.
Yeah.
Like it's
Maybe.
like for like friends and family. And
right.
like,
It's for grandma.
Yeah.
But like there's a market in there somewhere of just like what are the other things that Apple's doing that aren't business oriented. Like Zoom became a whole thing.
Yeah, it did.
Tony, you have a just mirror everyone.
Yeah, I was just talking about being positive. I try to be positive with these JMOs, but I gotta be.
Keep it.
I've been
100.
wanting to talk about this with some people, and I've only
Okay.
been able to talk about it, and I might strike out because maybe you guys don't. Do you guys watch The Bear?
Yes.
We have not watched this season.
We haven't watched season 2
Okay.
either.
Oh, there's 2 seasons we've missed.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
2 seasons behind.
You
Oh, I
watched
didn't realize
a
that.
bear.
Well,
Yeah.
I will do no spoilers, but I was very late to come in. I kept hearing it was great. Never watched it, and then I went on tour. Flo watched it while I was gone, loved it, and she was like, "You should watch it." And then
Oh,
the
no.
new season's coming out, and but no, I watched the first 2 seasons, got caught up. I was like, "Yeah, this is great." I wasn't sure at first, but then I was like, a couple episodes in, I was like, "All right, I love this." And then we were both excited for season 3. I thought season 3 sucked.
Interesting.
I have heard this though. I have.
Have
heard
you?
that,
I did.
yes.
Yeah. I've talked to a couple people, and people have been. I think the most I've gotten is like, yeah, it definitely wasn't as good, but I still liked it.
I have,
I saw someone
I
writing
have.
on Threads today that it sucked.
but
Yeah.
I did see one person try to defend it, but I hadn't seen it, so I didn't know what the defense was. But
Yeah.
it has its defenders.
It just felt like it was like I feel like the show did so well and people really liked it, and it was almost like they felt the pressure or something, and like we're like, we got to get like
They're reading the-
artsier. So it
It
felt
is
like they
hard.
Reading the
tried to rip
comments.
too hard
It
or
is
something.
hard. I like, and especially with that show, I wondered how they're going to keep that premise going.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like that's a tough thing.
Yeah.
That's it. That turns out that's a 2-season show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe it
first one
should.
is what
Things
the
should be
backgrounds
as
are.
many seasons as you have story to tell. Like if it's 2 seasons, that's great. But I'm watching Stranger Things season 4, which is a show that
I still haven't watched that.
It's like I don't know why I'm watching it. It's clearly there's something about it I enjoy, but part of it for me is
Complaining.
just like marveling at like, God, this could be so much better. Like, and then I'm like, but people love this show, and I don't want to shit on it, but it's like, God damn it, guys! Like, is there nobody doing story editing over there? Is there nobody like giving you notes on your
I think
scripts?
that was I think part of the reason I didn't watch, because I've watched the other seasons and I liked it, but then I kept hearing like, oh, the last season, like each episode is like a movie, and I'm like, I don't want to watch like.
Well, but not all
4
movies are
or
good.
5,
That's the show I'm watching.
Yeah, like I don't want like multiple 2-hour episodes. Like, yeah.
But there's like, it's got all these problems. Then I don't want to be overly critical of something that's supposed to be like, I don't know, whatever. But
Which is fun.
you know what we're watching that's great, and then we got to go. Love on the Spectrum.
Have you seen
The
it?
greatest
I keep
show on
hearing it's
television.
great. I've never
Holy
watched it,
shit. I love that show so much.
Yep.
I want to just hug it.
I
wanna
almost
hug that
cry
show forever.
Every episode.
We
It
do
is-
almost cry every episode.
I
We have
am
to pause
always
it
on the-
periodically
I am-
to just like let it soak
I am
in. Oh my god!
Always on the verge of just tears. I want to hug them all forever.
Yep.
It is the most wholesome,
Yep.
heartwarming, like, it's the best.
Except for that one woman who is trying to bone.
Oh, Danny.
Yeah.
I love Danny.
I love her so much, but it's
She's
like
horny.
wholesome, and
She's
then all
horny.
of a sudden it's like I am looking to have sex with him.
Yes.
Like it just gets.
Oh, we haven't gotten to that point yet.
She is.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
No, that's
no,
okay.
it's all
No,
right.
it's
She's the best. I also love her. It is. The Australian one too is like, I don't know, what am I supposed to do? It's an Australian accent on top of this person that has autism and is being as kind as can be.
Yeah.
Like, forget it all day. I'm built for this show.
I really
yes,
need to watch the
yes,
Australian,
it
the
is.
original.
If you are just looking
You haven't
for
seen the
something,
Australian one yet? Oh,
is that on Netflix too?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to put that out there as a recommendation. If you haven't watched it, you're looking for something that is just going to make you feel good about humanity. It's just the sweetest.
Fitzsimmons talked about it a while ago. I got to talk to him. I know he was watching it.
it's the best.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Thus concludes another Allison Rosen is your best friend. I would like to thank
every show that way.
I do. I'd like to...
and thus concludes.
Todd, where might we find you?
Give me on that internet over there on the Instagram. Todd C. Cooper, one of the two. I can't remember.
Whenever one has pictures of
Follow
Todd.
both, and
Yeah.
you'll get him.
You find me.
Daniel, you.
Daniel Quantz at Twitter, Instagram, Threads, other things. Who knows? You might get lucky.
I don't post much, but yeah, Instagram app.
Tony Thaxton.
And yeah, it's Don't Stop or We'll Die at Permanent Records Roadhouse, September 18th. And if you're listening to this day, it comes out. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Tony.
And I'm on Patreon. Patreon.com/Allison
So
Rosen.
we're going to say happy birthday to Todd.
I almost did the Patreon. I was waiting to do when he was going to push it. I almost did it with it.
Happy birthday, Todd.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy birthday.
But also, I'm also on Substack, where I'm telling secrets about my time on the Corolla show.
Oh, my God.
And other stuff.
Spilling the tea.
AllisonRosen.substack.com. Ads are thin, guys. I am now relying on your direct support if you're so inclined. If you're like, listen, lady, I don't have 2 pennies to rub together. Are people
That's
rubbing
what
their
you do.
pennies together?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
It makes a third
'Cause
penny.
That's true.
Neither. Oh, is that how pennies
That's how pennies are made.
are born?
Yeah. You find 2 horny pennies.
That's right.
Oh, a horny penny. Find a horny penny, pick it up.
2
All day long, you're going to fuck.
Oh my God, please make a drop of that and we can use it for any kind of time that advice is needed. Yeah. Substack, Patreon. Get to all my stuff by going to Allison'sLinks.com and leave a review, won't you? And subscribe and blah, blah. Everyone, thank you. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Allison Rosen